Alrighty, I am here with Slade, the ninth placer of this season, season 10 of Ascendance Trendsetters. And just gonna briefly walk through, Slade's game here in the exit interview with him. So first of all, Slade, you came into this game, you were a returning player. You spoke about wanting to play again, after, seeing, the format, you played in season three, and then you were a production member in the live format. So kind of talk about the urge to kind of give it another go here, and what you were trying to do, I guess. What were you, the redemption arc you wanted.
Yes. So, I mean, this is really my first go, I feel like. And I've been saying that all season. I was so inactive in season three. I never should have played. And then, I mean, I literally had no idea what the format was after I was eliminated. And so then they asked me to come back for one of those second chances with the returnees. And I said no, just because. And then I met Nicole and Papa at Mayhem Manor. And then they were talking about doing a live game. And I was like, I really want to I want to help with the live game because I want to learn how to do that because I'm someone who hosts. I just would like to get that experience. And then after doing that, I'm pretty much getting to like witness the game firsthand. I still think that I knew the true tea of Ascendance Live storyline better than anyone else that was there. I was like, bitch, I want to play. And so then I literally was like, I told Nicole and Papa, I was like, y'all need to bring me back. You don't have a choice. I'm playing again. Let me know. And here we are. Here we are.
Here we are, and you came back in with two other returnees, Dre and Antoinette. um we see Dre kind of go out in the pre-jury, but Antoinette was there with you in the jury phase of the game. Talk about, was there ever like, what was your kind of relationship with the two other returnees, Dre and Antoinette?
Well, right away, my like day one, I wanted to like make like a thing with us, and we did. It was made. It was called the Hotties, and I just kind of wanted us to all agree, like, let's get to jury. Now, granted, I forgot kind of when I was making that, like, jury is a really hard thing to get in Ascendance. Like, I think people like when you see you make jury in the Survivor, it's like, yeah, you made top 13. It's like, no, jury in Ascendance is top 9. Like that's it's 4 more boots. Um, then Drake also wasn't really around. I did make a bond with Antoinette. Antoinette, I mean, I voted with her when I went. She did vote me out the game though. But even then, my whole boot is such a mess that it's like I don't really have ill feelings towards any of like everybody did what they needed to do at the elimination that I went home. So I'm not really mad at her about it. I did make a good relationship with her. It was I always felt like I trusted her more than she trusted me, and that's usually the tea with my games in general. Dre, not so much though. Dre was just never really active with me, unfortunately. I didn't aggressively want Dre out, but I was like, we should vote Dre out. So Internet, great. Dre, just not around enough to really make much of anything out of it.
Yeah, and let's talk about these opening rounds for you. I'm looking at it. You attended the first two votes. They seem pretty clear
Oh
cut.
my God. You know what's funny? And I'm only just making this realization now. When I started the game, I made the joke. I didn't make a joke. It was the T. I said, I'm like Sari in Game Changers. And bitch, I got Sari. I brought that on myself. Like, oh my God, that is like really fucking creepy, huh? Like, that's like what? Like, who did I like? I really said I'm Serene Game Changers, and I am Serene Game Changers. I needed those early game wins to build the bonds, to go the distance, to then get eliminated because I didn't have an advantage like everybody else. So I really was Serene. I really was. I'm a
It's funny.
great person to be. But my intro and confessional, I said I felt like Serene, and I feel like Serene going out too. So. Queen Siri.
It's funny that you
Sorry,
mentioned
I know
that.
that wasn't a question, but I just thought about it. I was like, so yeah.
It's funny that you.
Yay!
It's funny that you mentioned that, Slade, because I actually just wrote about that in the VL, on a VL post that I just did today. In your opening confessional, like you said that I asked you, what kind of placement do you see yourself getting? I know it's early in the game. What do you see yourself getting? And you said, I see myself, getting a Suri kind of game changers arc. And I was like, interesting. That's a tough
And
ending.
no one could have even ever predicted that it would have gone how it went. But I don't know why, but I was always connecting with Suri when I got in this game. I don't know if it was because Suri, I don't know if it's because like I was a returnee type thing. Also because I don't know. I don't know what it was, but I just really felt connected to Suri from Game Changers in this game. I just always did. Which, that is very funny though.
So,
It's
you
not funny, but it's laughable after the fact.
right. So, the opening sequence of the game for you, it was pretty, straightforward. You get these two trendsetters, you're in the majority vote, you're safe another round, you're in another majority vote where, Shannon's not even around. You're a part of the Jeremy blind side.
I voted right the whole game until I went home. I voted out the person I voted went home every single round except the round I went home. I was
So,
doing good.
so we could basically say you were in the know of basically, who was going home each time. You
Yeah.
would say that's safe to say, right?
I was the deciding factor. I like with the Jeff and Jester vote. Yeah, I said Jeff is not going home this round. I told Seamus that too, and Seamus agreed. I mean, listen, I really feel like I played a very good game. I mean, to be honest, I thought I was gonna probably win until what happened. The same way Siri should have won Game Changers. I felt like I didn't know everything, obviously, but I felt like I knew the most important bits of information. But talking about the early game specifically, because Zach is still in the game, a fun fact is that I picked Zach to vote him out in that round. So had we lost, Zach would be out. He wouldn't even be at the finals. So, and I don't think he knows. I mean, obviously he doesn't know that, but because I did end up working with Zach later on. But it's just funny to me how that worked out.
And that was in round 2 where
Round
Aaron was
one,
limited.
no,
Round
Gatsby
1.
Gals.
Okay.
Gatsby Gals, I picked Jeff, Seamus, and Zach, and I picked Zach to boot him. And Shannon. But I thought
Interesting.
Shannon was going to be active at the time. But you know how it is.
Yes, we know how it is. So, let's kind of skip towards, where things get, craziness. Let's talk about your vote out. Let's walk through it, right? We see
Okay.
powers being played. We see eventually a deadlock of 0-0 where we have two pendants played. I guess go through, leading up to the vote, what you thought was going to happen, and then were you surprised with the pendant plays? Did you think those were coming?
So this is why I won't vote for Zach probably at the end. Because Zach allegedly really had my back. So Zach and I had already had a whole conversation about how we both figured Antoinette probably had either a pendant or a powerful as fuck advantage. And I knew Sandy probably had something he wasn't telling me about. I thought Sam had it though. So I guess between the duo, I was wrong about who had it. Maybe Sam gave it to him. I don't know. But I knew that there were powers, and that's why when Zach picked the teams, I was like, "This is a shitty team. Like, there's no one to vote out if Antoinette, who Zach thinks has a power, plays her power. Like, there's no one left. Like in Zach's mind, right? Because Zach is supposed to be with me, Sandy, and Seamus. So that was annoying. So then, I mean, we get in our stupid little, like, let's just walk through. We get in the stupid little itty bitty teams, and Seamus goes, let's throw. And he does. He threw the comp. He even admitted to me after now that he's in jury that Seamus threw one of the rounds. So I knew I should have been the code name person. I've not played a lot of code names, but we're sitting there talking about who should be the person that like says like, the word and two or whatever. And I felt like I would be something I'd be pretty decent at, but I also didn't want to be the reason that we lost. So I was like, you know what, let me not. And then Seamus said he wasn't going to throw it. So I was like, okay. But I still was like, Seamus is a shady bitch. And he does. So then Seamus, but I'm supposed to trust Seamus because the thing is I doesn't, to a certain, I'm like 51% gut instinct, 49%, or I'm sorry, 51% logic, 49% gut instinct. where it's like, unless my gut is like really screaming at me, I'm just gonna go with the logical choice, which is like, okay, logically, Sheamus should be having my back. He shouldn't be trying to throw this. Let Sheamus do it. He said he feels good about it. We lose. Then it's like, ah, fuck, we lost. Then I don't want to even vote Sandy out. Sheamus is screaming at me, so I already knew about the double vote. He's like, I'm playing my double vote. I was like, well, if you're playing a double vote, then I'm still going to vote out Antoinette. But then I'm sitting there thinking, like, okay, if Antoinette, like, is going to stay, I don't want to vote Antoinette. So I did ultimately vote Sandy. And there was like a millisecond where I was like, I should vote Sheamus as he's so messy. He's the one that's caused the divide. But Sheamus was my final two. He's my boy. And logically, I should have not be trying to vote Sheamus. So I was like, let me just vote Sandy. But once both idols got played, I knew I was out. And I feel like you can kind of pretty much tell on my face. Like, I don't really react when Antoinette plays hers because I know it's game over at that point. Because Sheamus already told me that his thing carried over to the revote. So I knew I was screwed. So I don't know. It was kind of like, all right, I'm out now. Like, I don't really have much, I don't know how else to describe it. Like, Sheamus was really quick to throwing me under the bus. Sandy was being aggressive. I don't know if you watched Blood versus Water, but when Tina's daughter gets eliminated and Tyson's like, that's your seat over there. Sandy was doing that some hella. At least you're ninth. You're not 10th. You can have ninth, but let's give him ninth. I was so annoyed. That was like so gross. I wasn't going to vote for Sandy. I was going to really grill him for that at the end. But I mean, there's really nothing I could do about my elimination. I mean, two pendants, my number one ally throwing the competition, a double vote, Marcelo playing a vote from the other tribe. Like, that's why Papa's like, you weren't serene because Sheamus was able to be voted for. Bitch, y'all let Sheamus vote in a revote, and your rules are literally you're not supposed to vote in a revote. So it's like, bitch, I was serene. I don't even want to hear it. Everybody had an advantage but me, and I went home. I don't know. I don't know if I even answered your question. I kind of went on a tangent.
So, no, great answer. The revote.
Yeah.
I can't confirm, obviously, powers. I don't know if that's been confirmed by Sheamus, if, how that worked out, but we see that there's 5 votes.
It's 3-2. Yes.
It's 3-2,
Marcelo,
right?
Sheamus, and Antoinette voted me out. Sandy and Zach voted me in. So it's like the bodies. I had more bodies of people at Tribal wanting to keep me, and I still went home of like the non-people. So it's like, what can you do? Literally nothing. Literally nothing. And I think that's what makes this boot so aggravating, is that it was like, I mean, yeah, I could, like, what was I supposed to do? Sheamus is not going to use the vote on himself. And then it's like, you got Sandy and Antoinette who are on completely opposite ends. Like, the only main chat drama we've had all game is Sandy and Antoinette. And I'm supposed to be able to have both vote to keep me. I got 2. I had Sandy and Zach, but it's like, there's no what, like, it's just like, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? Sheamus said it. He only needed 1 vote.
So say you so first of all, let's say Sheamus finds his way to the end of the game after this whole scenario, right? We obviously know that Sheamus was voted out last night or whatever. He's in the jury chat. Is that something that you would have held against Sheamus for like for a vote, for a finale vote?
Probably not. I mean, unless he was sitting next to Taisha, probably not. I mean, Sheamus did the thing. Like, that's it. Like I said, I can't really be mad because it's like I was the last person that was gonna go from that tribe. Like, Sandy had votes and Antoinette had votes. They had to play their pendants or they were going home. Sheamus had that advantage that if he didn't have, he was going home. So it's like I can't I can't really be. Yeah, it's annoying that he threw the comp and I yelled at him for that. But no, I don't think it would have ultimately stopped me from voting for Sheamus. Because like I said, it's like everyone just did what they had to do. Like, it's kind of just exactly what happened with the Serene game chairs. Like, okay, that person played something. Oh, it was triggered that person to play something, which has this person play something. So it's just kind of like, I don't have anything. I looked, and I have no idea how powers were given out. And my rumor, from what I've been told from the castmates, is that people who got voted out got to give them to people. Which would, and as you already know, I never voted wrong. I voted everyone out who went home. So those bitches aren't giving me anything. So at least, like, Sari at least didn't find her shit. But if that is how powers were given, I was literally completely powerless in my elimination. At least that's how I feel. Who knows? Maybe power. I know that there was one power hidden in the calendar, but bitch, I looked and looked and looked and looked, and I didn't go home to one power. I went home to 4 fucking powers. So it's at least 4 that I know about. So it's like, meh. No, I would have been better because, like I said, I was totally powerless in the situation. So I don't really have anyone to be mad at because it's like I'm mad at Zach. I may withhold my vote from Zach because of his stupid team picking because that's just bad team picking. Like team picking is like the hardest part of Ascendant. I think it's the most important part, and Zach was bad at it. And then cut to Sandy telling me that the round that me and Seamus were left out that fractured Gagatondra and like destroyed the whole alliance, that Zach was DMing him who to pick. So that means Zach would have picked teams really shittily twice at my expense when he's supposed to be my ride or die. His last message to me was, I want to go to the end with you. So yeah, no, I wouldn't hold my vote up from Seamus. Seamus was just doing what needed to be done. Zach made the bad gameplay decisions of putting 3 members of your 5-person alliance on one team with a girl who you think has an idol. So it's like, what was your fucking plan, Zach? And that's what I am ready to grill him on it. Trust me, if he gets to the end.
So let's talk about it. You are the first juror, right? You're the person
King of the
that
jury.
king of the
Yes, I
jury.
am.
You're the person that welcomes all the eliminated players from
I
here on
do.
out.
It was
So
lonely that one day. Thank God people got booted. I was spinning. I'm like, because I mean, not to like sidetrack, but it's like, my game ended in 2 seconds. At least on every other org I've ever played, I've had like the hour before the vote where it's like, okay, this probably the end of the road for me. I was voted out in 2 seconds and sent to an empty house. I was like, please, I just wanted to know. Like, I was like, it was terrible. So when Sandy and Antoinette came in, I was like, welcome, babes, welcome.
so
Anyway, sorry, what was the question?
so right, you're now a part of the jury, right? You're obviously in the chat with everybody coming into it. What do you how do you feel about the remaining players, and how do you feel about, is this chat that you're in now with the jurors, is that something that you are, bouncing your opinions off of, or are you kind of saving it for, finale questioning and that kind of stuff?
No, I'm definitely. I mean, like I said, not like I don't want to toot my own horn a huge bunch, but I do feel like I had a pretty good understanding of everything that was happening in the game. Um, Also with this particular season, like jury started, and then the game's gonna end a week later, so it's like it's not like there's a ton of game left to be played. It's like there's a lot of boots to happen, but there's not a lot. Like if that makes any sense, it's like so it's like I don't feel like there's any major giant developments that will have super happened from like Delaney's vote out to the finale, for example. So I'm definitely like getting opinions, but for the most part, I haven't really heard anything new that I didn't know about. I did hear about one power Marcelo has that I didn't know about in the game. But other than that, I've kind of already sort of known a lot of the things. I do like to see how they feel about other players, but honestly, like I think everybody that is left in the game, like I think everybody that made jury played a good game, or at least a good enough game. Like you have to play well in Ascendance to get far, and we all got far. So it's like people definitely have things like everybody should be proud of, but of the actual finalists, it's like Zach and Marcelo have a hard time getting my vote, and it's like I just don't see. Like, I just feel like they're missing. I don't know. Like, I'm still definitely super open, but right now I'm definitely leaning towards Taisha and then Sam, and then it's like Zach and Marcelo are like equal for me, just because I feel like Zach and Marcelo had the least, like I don't want to say impact because they definitely were, but I felt like they had the least amount of control of the game. I feel like Sam and Taisha had a little bit more control of the game, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, no, you did.
Okay.
Obviously I saw your message earlier in that jury chat that, you'd like to see a Taisha win or something along those lines, but you're open. So
Yes.
So, going along those lines, say the finale is Marcelo and Zach. Like, walk
Oh, and
through
it's
that.
probably gonna be because both of those boys both know that they're gonna lose to those women. I'll tell you, that's my guess. I'm putting money on it. I said Sandy would be boot. I said after I won, after I was eliminated, and I was told Sheamus won. I said he was gonna pick Antoinette and Sandy's gonna go, and then Sandy went. But my guess is that it probably will be Zach and Marcelo at the end, and at that point, it's going to be entirely on speeches. Um, but again, honestly, Zach really has to be able to explain to me why the fuck he did what he did with those team pickings. I mean, like truthfully, like that is what's. I don't have anything that's necessarily stopping me from wanting to vote for Taisha, Marcelo, or Sam. But I do have a reason to not really want to vote for Zach. And it's like, this just felt like a really clear gameplay flaw. Like the same way it's like Zach, Sheamus had a huge gameplay flaw in throwing the fucking comp and getting his number one ally eliminated. So it's like, Zach, you are supposed to have allegedly been wanting to go deep with me and you cost me my game. Like, help me understand what your logic was. I also just don't feel like Zach was just slimy. Like, I mean, honestly, like this is I like to think that I vote for the game that is the best, but also it's like your social game is important, and I just have to want to see you win the game. Like I and Zach he just don't give me. He's not giving me that winner energy. Maybe he can have a knockout performance at the finale that will sway my vote, which is entirely possible. But I don't know. Zach's gonna have a hard fought battle to get my vote right now for sure, probably.
So, say your schedule lines up perfectly with another returning season, maybe an all-star season down the road, and Ascendance gives you the call and it's like, "Hey, come back and play again." Is that something that you would be open to, or are you kind of like,
Yes. I would
what?
totally. Yes.
Okay,
To
okay.
answer the question, yes, I would totally play again. I'd love to play live because, I mean, come on. I don't think anyone in the history of this game was eliminated the same way I was. I better come back. No, I better come back. I was not even properly voted out. I was playing a winning game, and I truly think that. So it's like, I better come back. I went from the worst player they might have ever had in the history of the game in terms of activity to, I think, playing a pretty solid as fuck game. And even Sandy and some of the other jurors told me that. They're like, Sandy said that me and Taisha were in the best spots of the game before I left. And I still agree. And that is why I want Taisha to win. I feel like me and Taisha play very similar-ish games. She just wasn't on a shitty fucking team where fucking everybody had safety. So yes, I would love to play again. I feel like I should play again. And if not, I'm flying to Nicole's house and beating her up. No, I'm kidding. I would love to
Yes,
play
yes.
again though.
So
Yes.
go beat up Nicole. Okay, so those are all the questions that I have for you, but is there anything else that you want to talk about with your experience this season that maybe we haven't touched on?
Not really. I feel like I rant and ramble so much that I've done said everything I need to say. So I'm good, I think.
All right, perfect. Let me stop this recording.